So it's actually not, no, it's nothing about how it's actually being said. It's totality, right? It's what's being said specifically, and the combination of what's being said and how it's being said, it is the problem. Because, like, for example, Rollo Tomasi even said, I'm saying basically the same things that David Buss say, which is an evolutionary biologist, and Jordan Peterson have said, but I don't meet the criteria to go on Chris Williamson's podcast. And he's had both of these guys on. So, because apparently I talk in a way that is not appropriate for the type of guests that he has on his, that for the type of audience he has on his show.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Well, because Rollo Tomasi talks in a tougher way. Right. Jordan Peterson talks from, a lot like how, and David Buss, like a lot how I say, we just reference from clinical data and we just keep it on that. Rollo Tomasi kind of talks a lot harder than that, but using the same data. He references a lot of statistics and facts and clinical research. He loves evolutionary biology. That's an example right there on a lower scale. And then on the higher scale, for example, you have a guy like Eric Thomas who's yelling, screaming, or a guy like David Goggins who's cussing, F-bombing.
Oh yeah, all the time.
But but what he's saying doesn't make how he's saying it bad as far as they're concerned. With Rollo Tomasi, what he's saying and how he's saying it, it's not the problem of what he's saying, it's how he's saying it that makes it the problem. So you have on two different spectrums, it's not what he's saying, it's how he's saying it's the problem. And it's not how he's saying it, but what he's saying is the problem. And if you both of those meet together to where you're saying it in a way that they don't like, and you're saying in how you're saying it in a way that they don't like, then they want to cancel you.
Yeah.
Then you feel like
how you're saying it wouldn't even matter, because if it's positive to your
their standard, yeah,
then how you say it should actually still be said. That he said what I love and I actually agree with it, but I still didn't like how he said it. That would be more respectful.
Yes,
respected to me. But you don't actually. It's like your music. I will turn up the music that I really like loud. But if you're playing music I don't like and you put it up loud, I might say like, oh man, we turn that down. That's way too loud. That music's way too loud.
Yes.
You're disturbing the room. But if it was music that I actually can sing word for, would I actually say that?
Correct.
Actually, I'll be selfish. I'll actually be selfish and say, yeah, this is fine. You can keep that playing. But what about the others that don't want to hear the loud music?
Yes.
I might say, no, keep it playing.
Yes.
So then it's selfish to me, to my personal liking. To me, loud is loud, regardless of what it says.
Yes.
Loud is loud. So even if it's a message that you agree with, you still should have said, yeah, that's good, but tone it down. You still be a little loud.
Yes.
But not when it comes to information that feel like it's challenging you. Like they say, when the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe doesn't fit, then the message is not pertaining to you. But it seems like a lot of these messages are pertaining to the people that are critiquing and slandering. It might be bothering, because to me, I hear a lot of stuff where women talk about men that don't bother me. They ain't talking about me.
Yeah.
So I don't get upset by it, but it seems like a lot of these stuff be hitting home to a lot of listeners.
And the people who are censoring this are people on the left, and they're supposed to be the quote unquote groups of openness, and they're not. And like I've always said, they seem to have the qualities of openness, but they're not open to ideas that are opposite of theirs. They're very intolerant of ideas that are different from theirs.
To me, that's the definition of openness, is to be intolerant.
It is to be tolerant, but they're not. And there's reasons for that. Is when it comes to openness, it's actually based on an emotional and empathy based culmination, and as a result of that, to be open, you have to be emotional. And to be emotional means, if you're emotionally heavy, you're essentially a system one thinker. And if you're a system one thinker, you're intuitive. You're not going to be a system two thinker at the same time. You're not both of those at the same time. And if you're not a system two thinker, then you're not a conscientious cognitive thinker, at least even at the moment, whether you are in general. So it's really, and the left is supposed to be so open to all these different things, Silicon Valley is obviously the people who are making these calls, and they're predominantly left-leaning. And it's probably a board. It's the amount of people making decisions is probably the size of a boardroom, who are controlling these delete switches to people's lives. It's actually pretty sick. I will say that while these people are supposed to be open to these ideas because they're left leaning, and why they're not very open at all. That's a huge problem for our society, and it's very dangerous. And as far as I'm concerned, it's actually kind of borderline discrimination, because the reason why people discriminate, right? They say, oh, that music is terrible, like rap music is terrible or something, or that religion is bad, for example, or those type of people are not good people, or you know, my race is superior. It's really because you don't understand other cultures and other races and other perspectives. That's why you don't like it, because you don't understand it. I remember, to add to your point, I even remember a while ago, you know, I was somewhere at some hole-in-the-wall restaurant. I was there because they had these excellent Reuben sandwiches, and I was there for lunch and Reuben sandwich or whatever. There were some, you know, white people playing some Californian music, you know, California Dreaming, music like that, right? After the afternoon, you know, people are having lunch beers and whatnot and having sandwiches. And so I played a Ozuna song. It had a hard beat to it. And he's singing in Spanish. And in the song, he's talking about love. And, you know, they were playing their song, and I, you know, on the jukebox, I threw mine in there. Ozuna singing in Spanish about love and stuff. The white lady behind me was like, well, what is this that's playing? I mean, it's so rough. I mean, we were playing nice, soft music. And I had to explain to her, I said, well, actually, what he's talking about is actually better than the music that was being played, because he's actually talking about loving his woman and affection and love. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I mean, I couldn't tell because the beat was so hard. So the song that actually I played was more about love and treating a woman right, while the song that they were playing, you know, wasn't even on that level of affection, but yet, because she didn't understand it, and the beat wasn't to a harmony that she could understand, she thought I was playing some type of harsh, derogatory music. And see, that's the problem when it comes to like Andrew Tate and this censorship stuff. It's these things are coming from a perspective that you don't understand, and you think that it's toxic to other people because you don't understand it. It's coming at a tone that you don't understand, so you think that it's wrong and incorrect. And this even happens a lot in relationships. You know, if a man yells at his wife, for example, or a woman in public, this is seen as, oh, it's violence and it's abuse. But if she toxic, but if she smacks him in public, picks up a large Coke from McDonald's and slams it in his face, this is funny and this is understood, and this is a woman being a woman, and he's bigger, so he should be able to take it. There's all these incorrect, double standard, preconceived notions, suppositions that are based on different things, Marxist suppositions, and not being able to understand different societal aspects that we still need to grow into as a society. It's sad.